smart people. I'm most grateful for you watching the show. You are making it bigger and bigger. Well, today we have a very interesting character on the show. He is trained as a computer scientist, but he has something for network business. I don't know, we'll get to find out shortly. Well, I am Telazin.
Smart people, dare to be different. Smart people, always be different. Smart people, smart people, smart people, always make a change. Smart people, dare to be different. Smart people, say yes they can. Smart people, know that they can. Smart people, smart people, smart people, always make a change. Smart people, dare to be different.
Welcome to Smart People.
Thank you.
Well, your name is Mr. Kofi Kludjeson. It sounds too English because I just got to know where you are coming from. So where from that name?
Well, thank you so much, for honoring me with this program.
You're most welcome.
I don't know how smart I am to be privileged to be on your smart program, but I'm quite privileged. First of all, it's not an English name. It's from the Republic of Have in the Volta region.
Republic of where?
Have.
I love that.
The name Have is a republic of its own.
I see.
But most people even think that the name is a Swedish or Norwegian or Scandinavian name.
Okay.
As I travel all over this world, I experienced that, but it is from Have.
Where it comes from.
Yeah.
Hey, he's from my region. I'm so proud to be talking to him. He's from Have. Tell me, you've already told me where you come from, and you have to let me through your growing up as a child and how you ended up in Accra, since you are from the Republic of Have.
Well, this is a very interesting question because it has a lot of interesting journey about it. Sometimes I don't like talking about them. But since
smart people,
you have to
talk about it.
Anyway, my background is a very simple thing. I was born originally in Kumasi, many years ago. My father was the chief of all the Ebe tribe, many years ago, during Ajima Prempe the second time.
Okay.
So it's the information I had was that my father became his right hand, person within the Ashanti Kingdom at the time.
Oh.
So I was born in
the Volta
region. At that time, the Ebe tribe, I'm told, she was quite a very powerful tribe.
We are still a very powerful tribe.
And then, it's domiciled over to Togo, but anybody that speaks within the kingdom, he was the chief. So that's how I was born.
Okay.
So I was born, the story also had it that as a result of that, the then, Jima Prempe II, who became my godfather.
Asante Hene.
Yeah. So from there, my father apparently went home, to have one day for a visit, and then, those days they pounced on you,
yes.
So he became the chief also for Have. So became the migration back, home. So I grew up in Have, through my formative years.
And you schooled there?
In school there, to the primary school.
To what level?
To Form 4.
Which Form 4? Middle
school
Form
4.
Okay.
In Have. I went through the real school.
Middle school living certificate.
MSLC, the longest degree in the world, So I had that, but when something very tragic happened in my life, because when I reached Form 2, I had passed the common entrance exam. That was on October, one few days from now. And I had my chop box by the roadside to go to Bishop Herman Secondary School.
Oh. My
father was sick, at that time, before I was going. Only to be informed that he died that same day. During my, So, of course, I was brought
back
home, and that was the end of my journey to secondary school. So I don't have secondary school classmates in Ghana as we speak.
Okay.
So I, continued, of course, to middle school, Form 4, where I became the major degree MSLC certificate. Then became a very difficult situation, at that time because help, was difficult. Was not coming from anywhere. But my mother was so determined, you know, that because of the profile my father had, she was going to make sure.
Is your mother also a Voltarian?
Yes, from Amfuega.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you are 100%.
100%.
I'm 110.
110%.
Smart people always be different. Smart people dare to be different.
My father had 4 wives. You know, being a chief. But apparently the story was that, you know, because he had, my siblings were all women, you know.
Oh, so he was looking for a boy.
So he was looking for a boy, you know.
That's always
as a chief. So that's why my mother was the last, you know, one. And, you know, fortunately for him, you know, this big head came as the number 8th child of my father. So your mother was a Kwamlana, as the Gombe Suko. So, you know, I became the number 8th child of my father, you know, and the first child of my mother. Oh, okay. You know, followed by my immediate brother Kwame, again, and then AC, and then another, you know, boy with Maunyu. So my, you know, mother brought joy to my father, but he decided not to live to enjoy it. Oh, you know, so that ended up. So that was the. So when I finished, you know, that, you know, program, you know, then what to do became a very major, difficult, you know, thing in the village. So, of course, there's nowhere to go, you know, there's no background. So my mother has insisted that the poor people's school is to go to teacher training college, you know. So my father was a very staunch CPP politician at that time. You know, those days, Havre was the center stage of the politics between Transvolta Togoland, CPP, and UP, you know. And my father, having come from, you know, Kumasi Ashanti Kingdom, you know, was very, influential, you know, in trying to, most of they were the leader of those chiefs to be able to steer, you know, that, you know, crusade. And there was a guy that we call S.G. Anto, who was leading the UP or the Transvolta Togoland. So my father was under a lot of risk, you know, and that's one reason I don't do politics at all today. You know, I don't want to get involved with politics because was very difficult. And the D-Day that, you know, these major issues that would have happened, launching the UP or the Transvolta Togoland to carve, to join Togo, you know, that day was very, very, very messy in Havre. So my father had to ask my mother to, so we went to stay in the bush for almost 2 weeks. Ooh,
but Havre is very far from Togo.
It's not, you know, if you know the history of these Transvolta, you know, through the Kelebik Parliament, you are there.
Okay.
So, you know, that CPP thing became a very, very major, you know, issue, you know, within town. So we grew up through that. So as a result of that, my father has very good friends, you know, the regional commissioner, the district commissioner, and so forth and so good. So my mother decided to go to them to see whether they can help, you know, for me to continue education. But it never happened, you know. So she decided that I must go to training college. But, you know, growing up...
But those days, training colleges were as good as the universities today.
Yes, but, you know, growing up in, you know, they call me Kofi when I was growing up. Prince Kofi, Kofi, this Prince Kofi. So me too, I said, you know, being, you know, I'll be a businessman when I grow up. I will not be a teacher because teachers are poor at that time, you know. Anyway, so I made all this casual, but my mother insisted. So she took me to Majafe Training College, you know, to an uncle of mine who was there teaching there. I didn't like it, so I came back, you know, to have it.
It's because you already had a mindset that you want to be a businessman.
Because, you know, those days there were a lot of, you know, information papers we read and all of them from the privileged home at the time. Anyway, so that was the end of that story. So we started weeding, you know, people's farms, you know, trying to see what we can do. So one day I had an uncle.
You stopped the training college?
Yes.
And you were weeding people's farm?
Yes.
You thought that was better?
Yes. Because I had to eat at that time, you know, and I have to look, you know, so.
But your school fees were being paid?
Well, that was not,
but you just didn't fit in?
I was not interested. It just didn't fit in. I was not interested. I don't have any interest in it. So I came back to my mother. So she cried. I said, you shouldn't worry. You know.
You make it up to her?
To make up to her, you know. And anyway, it was very interesting formative years in Harvard, you know, in those areas. But, you know, but something happened. Because I didn't go to Bishop Herman, you know, my friends that went, every weekend when I save money, I go to Bishop Herman Secondary School.
To visit them?
To visit them. So I'm eating in the dining hall. So most who see me today, they thought I'm an alumni of Bishop Herman Secondary School.
You were bad boy.
I was, because I'm always mixing, you know, with them. But again, you know, it did not deter me, you know. So my mother decided that, look, you know, she will make sure that we become somebody.
Yes.
You know
that is another woman for you.
Yeah, you know. But you know, when my father was alive, my father be a chief. I wanted me to be a lawyer. Of course, my mother wanted me to be a doctor.
Wow.
You know, but all those collapsed, you know, when you know how it is in those areas. But then something very fortunate happened, you know. We went to the farm one day, and they said one of my uncles was working at Pong, Elang, as a chief driver, you know. So he came to the village with his big handshell to pick me, because there was an opportunity, you know, at his job, and I wasn't there. So when I came, you know, I followed up to Pong. Only to find out the job that was available was a laborer when they were building the Pong Water Works.
For your uncle?
You know, yeah, you know, for Elang Limited.
Oh, okay, okay.
Elang, you know. So we went, you know, so I took the job, you know.
You took that job?
Yeah, you know, so.
As a laborer?
As a laborer. You know, they were building.
Wow, we're still on smart people. You can only get this revelation on the show.
Smart people always be different. Smart people dare to be different.
So that was when they were building the present Pong Water Works, which will bring water to Accra. But then something very strange happened again, you know. One day, you know, as I was, you know, wheeling my wheelbarrow, you know, the project manager, who was a Swiss guy called Mr. Steger, saw me, so asked of my name, you know, I was very little, you know, at the time, they claimed, and invited me to the office.
I can imagine, because you are still not fat. Even though you are tall, you are...
So she invited me to the office, and I said, look, you know, she wanted me to be the messenger in the office, you know. So I said, okay. So I told my uncle, he said, okay, take the opportunity. So I did. You know, so that became, you know, working for the office, you know, as a messenger.
From laborer to you graduated from laborer to messenger.
Know.
Wow! Promotion is coming.
Well, yeah. Anyway, so I did that, you know, for some time. And so, you know, in the office, there were a lot of books, magazines, you know, because, you know, in expatriates, so we're reading a whole lot, you know. So I got interested in water treatment, you know. You know, so those days they were doing a lot of, you know, exams sending people to Germany and what have you. So we took the internal exam, you know, and I had passed. So I was so excited that I'm going to Germany.
Wow.
I'm going to Abrochiri at the time, you know. I
got to go to Germany. The whole village will see you off.
You know, there's something, so while we're getting to go there, then something happened.
Again?
And I was shortchanged.
Oh
by
my
the then
God.
accountant who replaced me with his son, you know, so I lost that opportunity.
Again.
You know.
But you see, because God has a plan for your
you,
life, it's manifesting now. Yes.
So that opportunity, you know, and of course that was the end of my working there as well, because the whole thing became a major problem.
Ooh.
You know, there. So anyway, so I went back to Harvard, and they said when the answer was on leave, 1 week passed, 2 weeks passed, 3 weeks passed, 4 weeks passed, 1 month, the leave never finishes. So then after 3 months, one of my elder sisters, you know, was, you know, Charity Kludjeson, you know, may she rest in peace, you know. She was then working next door, Barclays Bank, you know, here as a cashier.
Okay.
So she came and brought me to Accra, you know, to Pig Farm, where they were at the time. And then found me a job at veterinary, you know, services, as know, as messenger.
A continuation of posts.
So at that time, you know, then I became the manager of the chief veterinary officer, one Dr. S.K.B. Kwate, you know, I mean you know, Brazil Mabori, you know, she also died. But then I had to wake up at Pig Farm and walk through Ringway. That time it was trotro, you know, I didn't even have trotro to pay, so I have to wake up and walk to Labadi.
Are you serious?
You know,
from Pig Farm?
Yes.
To South Labadi or Labadi itself?
South Labadi, you know, at the veterinary office there.
Yes, because I know where it is.
Yes, you know, to sweep 24 rooms.
Listen, what was pushing you on to work? Because me, I would have given up. You know, this generation, we don't like to struggle.
you have to, get the money to send some to, Kofi in Have as well.
So that was what was edging on, because you have to look after your mother.
And they see all of them are there. So I became the breadwinner too at that age. I'm
getting more interested because, you see, I keep saying on this show that we, the youth, including me, we are not ready to go through all this hassle. How on earth would you find a dead body in someone's room, all in the name of making money? If you could walk from where?
Big Farm.
Big Farm to South Labadi, and you are still here today. Oh, and you are trying to give people opportunity to work for you?
Yes, so I did that, I did that for a while, then all of a sudden I was sent to become a veterinary, guard, treating dogs and goats and whatever it is.
Hey, by first doctor.
By first doctor. So we did that, and then
oh, Lord have mercy, you've gone through it.
There's something very, very, major happened. At that time, there was GNTC, Ghana National Training Corporation, that was training. So in the Christmas, they employ, Christmas hands, to come and work. And at that time, I was also going on jury duties, government, jury duties at the court. So they came, I sneak out and I came for the interview. Incidentally, in this same building that we are today.
So this is not a new building?
No, it used to be a big training store, Ghana National Training Corporation, GNTC. It was the GNTC head office.
I see.
GNTC head office, this building.
So you see,
so
you can't cheat nature.
I can't cheat nature. So I sneaked out, and they employed me,
So then, you left the...
Then when I wanted to leave, Dr. Quarty, they called me that I shouldn't go because a temporal, thing. After the 3 months, they'll leave you. But there was an intuition in me that said I should take the job. So I did, So when I came here, we started working on the ground floor. It used to be a huge provision store, down there. My boss was one Mr. Labisian. My commercial, inclination started from this building. The GNTC provision store, Then again, whilst I was there, working, one day the lady, very beautiful lady like you, was walking around,
Hey, he says I'm beautiful. I'm honored.
Look at me. I said, young man, what's your name? So I told her, I said, wow, anytime I pass you, I see you packing things. So can you come to my office? I said, why, madam? You said, the 3rd floor. Her name was Mrs. Rose Christ. She was then the administrative manager.
But she wasn't a Ghanaian?
No, she was a Ghanaian.
Okay, but she's passed on?
She's passed on as well.
Okay.
So I came upstairs, and I was so scared, coming up there. But eventually, she sat down, so every time she comes, I'm doing whom I am, my background, this free school I went. So I said, you didn't go to secondary school? I said, no, that's what are you doing here, Anyway, so she said, okay, she would let me come and work in the administration, So I moved on to,
But you've been blessed throughout,
be a clerk, to Mrs. Rose Christ,
hey.
The administrative, manager. Then when I was going on, then eventually, I became, a chief clerk, overseeing all the...
promotion is coming, but it comes from above.
At that time, there were a lot of, people, the school culture, so I was in charge of the, check out, register, check in, the whole thing. Then that time, then we said, we were friends, so we said we all go to Aburuchi, but we have no background, no education, So we started writing, to letters, Bonanza, pen pal, sending us photographs. So wow.
And you'll be dreaming.
Yeah, So then I decided that, look, me, because I lost the opportunity in Bong, by all means, me too, I'll go some,
you see,
these things.
Me too, I'll go prove a
point. So when I get salary, I go to the village, have it, and I'll buy charcoal. I decided to invest in charcoal business. So when it came, then I'll be selling a malata.
You're a businessman.
Malata to double buy. So somebody I told my mother that, your son is not doing it in Accra. She's in Malata selling charcoal. One day, Dada came to Accra. Oh, it was sad, you know.
Oh, you also call your mom Dada?
Dada, yes.
My siblings laugh at me because I'm the only one who calls her Dada.
Oh, really?
And they all say, Mommy, Mommy. I said, I'm from Chito.
Yes,
She's Dada.
So I told you to go, but I shouldn't worry, you know, and that, you know, I want to save some money because, you know, me, I go to Abrochio, Dada, don't worry, you know. Then as we're there, then, you know, one day, you know, J.O.T. Ajiman, which was Nana Kudedo's father, was then the managing director of this building.
Yes,
you know.
that I remember.
And K. Anaka was the general manager.
I was told.
Yeah, very astute gentleman, you know. If most of my, you know, management administration came from those two gentlemen, very neat, sharp, collected.
Wow.
So they came and asked whether or not I could come and work for them, you know, on the 6th floor.
Of this same building?
The same building, you know. So when I went there, then K. Anaka said, you know, young man, that time they used to have a GNTC, People Education, you know, school on the 6th floor in this building, you know, evening school. So he encouraged me to go to that evening school, you know, and then the GNTC would sponsor me. So I went one day, I didn't see my peers there because, you know, this all secondary school. But he encouraged me, you know, and I went, you know, started there. So, you know, started the RSA, you know, stage 2, you know. So we did that, you know, and then, you know, but every afternoon I will be on the typewriter typing, writing letters, application to go to Aburuchi, whether it's Poland or Nicaragua, whatever.
Once you sit in the plane,
you
it's
want
fine.
to go, you know. The one day, Mrs. Chris called me and said, Kofi, they said every afternoon you'll be doing something. What have you been doing here? You say you'll be typing, doing this, doing that. What have you been doing? So I told her that, well, you know, it's nothing. You know, this is what I've been doing. I've been writing letters, you know, to send a project.
Wanting to
but
travel.
You don't have qualification. How can you go to? I said, well, buy me one day, someday.
Even those who do, they go and do all kinds of jobs.
Things, you know. One day, someday, you would go, you know. Anyway, so I continued that and going to the school, you know. So she called me one day and said, you know, if you can save money, you know, I have a son in Chicago, you know,
hey,
I'll see whether,
you see where God is taking you.
I can, you know, I'll see what I can do for you. So I said, I will make
Always
make a change. Smart people.